I just had the idea to rebrand myself from Goncalus to Gonchin Man. In some parts of the world, South America folks, you get the pass. If aneurysm was a word, this is how it would look like. Titles, the only form to identify a game's name, that's obvious, but what if titles weren't all the same in different areas? This has been around for a long time. One of the most famous examples is with the 80s Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon. In the UK and some parts of Europe and the world, they decided to change the title to Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles, because Ninja was just too violent. I never minded that change, but it's weird that some early episodes have the word ninja on it, but in later episodes they changed it to hero. It was a weird change, but similar occurrences happen with movies and TV shows. But when video games became a thing, they got the same fate. Some titles that were considered offensive, violent and inappropriate were changed in some parts of the world. Some love it, some hate it, to be honest I'm in the middle. One of the most popular changes to the video game title was with Resident Evil. Resident Evil is one of Capcom's flagship series, but in Japan, the series is famously known as Biohazard. It has always been this way since the beginning, and still to this day it continues this way. I love the fact that the subtitle for Resident Evil 7 is Biohazard, and for Biohazard 7 is Resident Evil. I still haven't played any Resident Evil game, but every day it passes it's getting harder and harder to get to the series. Another famous example is with Star Fox for the SNES. The original Star Fox had to change its name to Starwing in PAL regions, because of the similarities with a German company called Star Fox. That doesn't make much sense, but hey, Starwing isn't that bad. I hope that they don't mess this up. Jesus Christ. So, when Star Fox 64 released, they changed the title once again to Lylat Wars. I hate this f***ing title. I'm yet to see someone use the word Lylat on a sentence. This is the same as using Zwolder. It's an odd choice of words for a game like Star Fox 64, but after that, Star Fox became the official name worldwide. Thank God they did that. Living in the same world as Animal Battle Quest would have been dreadful. The Ratchet & Clank series suffered many changes in almost every game from the US to Europe. For example, Ratchet & Clank Going Commando is the title for NTSC regions, but in Europe it's just called Ratchet & Clank 2, and in Australia it's called Ratchet & Clank Locked and Loaded. Ratchet & Clank Up Your Arsenal is the title for NTSC regions, but in Europe it's just called Ratchet & Clank 3, and in Australia took it to the next level and named it Ratchet & Clank 3 Up Your Arsenal. Probably the weirdest case of them all is when Ratchet Deadlocked got changed to Ratchet Gladiator in Europe. I never understood that change. After the PS2, the titles remained the same in every region outside of some early PS3 games. I never cared for the changes because it weren't that drastic. I think the only weird one was with Ratchet Gladiator. Another PS2 game that changed from the US to Europe was the original Sly Cooper. Yeah, they just went lazy and named it Sly Raccoon. Good effort, guys. There was also some reasonable changes that make perfect sense, like with Bionic Commando. The original Famicom game is called Hitler's Resurrection Top Secret. Do I need to say more? Contra, am I right? Contra is one of the classic Konami games for the NES, but this game suffered major censorship in Europe for some reason. Because the game looked like humans shooting other humans, the game changed drastically and the title got changed to Probotector. This is probably the weirdest case of them all. This game looks insanely different from its US counterpart. This is the same case as Super Mario Bros. 2. The original Japanese game looks vastly different from Mario 2, but the gameplay remains the same. One name change that always confused me was with the Fatal Frame series. The series is called Zero in Japan, Project Zero in Europe and Australia, and it's called Fatal Frame in the US. I've never played a Fatal Frame game, that's why I thought for the longest time that Project Zero and Fatal Frame were two separate games. Kind of an odd change, to be honest. Not really a big change, but the Xenoblade Chronicles series is only called Xenoblade in Japan. It's a minor change, but I needed to point that out. Another series that I see everyone talk about is the Yakuza series. Did you know that all the titles are wrong? Originally, in Japan the series is called Like a Dragon, but when it came to the rest of the world, they changed it to Yakuza, and it just stuck with it until 2020 when Yakuza Like a Dragon released. This is the same as Resident Evil 7, but surprisingly, in 2022, Yakuza 8 was revealed as Like a Dragon 8, and they dropped the Yakuza title for good. I'm still trying to get used to it, but this was all kind of too sudden and a bit late. Why didn't they do this sooner? We'll never know. And of course, there's Mother. The Mother series is a weird case with titles originally. Mother 1 was originally going to release in the US as Earthbound, but then that port got cancelled and Mother 2 became Earthbound. And then Mother 1 was released finally in the US in 2015 as Earthbound Beginnings. Oh, and there's Mother 3. That never got an official port outside of Japan. At this point, it's not gonna happen sadly. Pac-Man also had a name change when it came to the rest of the world. The original name was Puckman, and because it resembled it got changed to Pac-Man. Then finally, there's this. I'm still trying to get it. Bully is one of the weirdest titles Rockstar has ever spat out. The idea of being a school bully simulator is already weird, but it's Rockstar so it's even weirder. In Europe, for obvious reasons, the title got changed to Canis Canem Edit. At this point just don't release it. Video games are censored, that happens all the time, but title changes, that will always be the most interesting part of it. The fact that the name Pac-Man is how Pac-Man is called in Japan, it's like we are living in two separate realities, where some people call this by one way and the other another way. And that's all from me. My transition is complete and now you can start calling me Goncalus man in 2052. Weird that I already have stuff planned for the future. First a Wii U review in 4 years, and now a name change in 30.